is Joy Divergence. I am looking to share some when menstrual cramps start and the bloating and air happens, and you really don't want to get up and do anything in the bathroom when that. I used to feel like I needed to do something different. For oneself as a woman. And I'm probably going to redo this video because the internet connection is not doing so great today, but we'll see how it goes. When life is hard, especially for us women, we don't want to speak up. We don't want in different societies, in different religions. So what would you do? Not what would Jesus do, not what would God do. I needed to allow myself to feel my emotions. And I learned to be grateful for my menstrual doing. Now, some people insist on saying, no, it's not a necessity. And they want to argue with you and they don't quite understand. Either they have never had somebody help them through a challenging time like that, or they haven't been that person who's been dealing with that struggle to begin with. So that's the first thing I'm going to invite you to do. A space you get to express your thoughts. Do that without bringing harm to others. So if you need to, you say, I need everybody out of the room and I need my stick. And I don't mean the man stick. For those of you that have that option, it doesn't always work. I mean, get a freaking golf club, get a hockey stick, at least the end of one, not the long piece, that's the wooden part, not the other thing. And make sure you have something around your head. Now, sometimes this might look a little bit different to you, but as long as you're not hurting anybody else, whether that's mentally, emotionally, physically, as long as you're not doing that, and you still are having that space for you to do that, for that part. Because sometimes it's down. Life can be very challenging at times. And as something I shared recently on Facebook, they don't know any better. Because they haven't been taught that there's another option really in that moment. And even if they've been taught, sometimes they haven't been quite trained at the level of how to respond in a way that would serve everybody. And we tend to expect ourselves to have a better response then. And that's when we end up putting ourselves down and not really giving ourselves a better opportunity. And that's when the dragon comes out. The dragon wants to sit there and just be angry and ornery sometimes and say nein. And have that kind of selfish attitude at times. But a dragon can also represent wisdom of the ages and magic. Each of us have that within us, hiding it. For the women who get really emotional around that time of the month, we need a space. Try it out, to be angry, to release whatever emotions we didn't get to release throughout the month. Because so if you're one of those individuals that are having is to know that your body knows what it needs. And if you're struggling with understanding that concept, give me a yes. And your body will usually lean forward. Now, if it's not doing that, you may not be hydrated. But it will usually lean forward. And then you say, body, give me a no. And usually it kind of leans backwards and kind of gives you like, whoa, okay, I didn't know my body could do that. My daughter yet because it's so new to her. So sometimes we got to take a break from those kind of things. But the basic thing that I'm trying to say here is your body knows what it needs. So after you've found out that you're in alignment with your yeses and nos, you can also ask yourself, okay, things like, let's say, what would help me, my body, at this time to release this pain, because sometimes it's a pain, and other times it is a to release that. Now, the next thing I'm here to say is don't question whatever is about to come to mind. Allow yourself to do that. That's very interesting. Then allow yourself to go and do what that one thing is. Now, you may have 5 things or 10 things even come up, and that's okay too. If you're one of those individuals, then go ahead and go with that too. But just write it all down first so that way you don't miss a step. For what I've learned, usually if you're dealing with due to trapped anger about being release and resolve that energy. But one of the ways that I do that's a simple way is you close your eyes and you visualize where that pain is. And you kind of look to see what color it is or what image comes up, and you just acknowledge it and say, okay, I see that you're there. What do you need? I need forgiveness. And you follow that. And as you follow that, you begin to find that you actually have the ability to visualize that pain away. You need to start from the color that comes to mind. If it's black, if it is red, then your next color needs to be orange. If it is orange, then your next color needs to be yellow. If it is yellow, then your next color needs to be green. If your color is green, next color needs to be amethyst. I believe it's a pearl white. I'd have to double check that one because I haven't quite practiced that one so far. But understand that you imagine that space, that color, to be filled with the next level of energy. It's kind of why Valentine's Day has red on it, in my personal opinion. Other than people understand that where people are at in their lives, why most people, when they advert, probably dealing with between anger and passion, is my guess. Keep it simple. The third thing that you can do, especially if you're just right above our pelvic area, there's a spot you can press that's about 3 fingers. You have to do 3 fingers out, and you press on those spaces. Now, you can also do that on the back. Like so. Here's the spine. And you come down and you do 3 fingers out again. And then you press. Now, usually when you do that, you press until, usually you do that with pressing until the pain subsides. Bloatedness will subside too a little bit, I believe. It's acupressure. Why? Because all that pain has been bottled up for far too long. Depending on how you feel emotionally that day, like if you're actually talking about physical pain, the more you actually talk about it, the more you're actually probably going to be feeling that physical pain because it's what you're focusing on. How to change that flow, change that direction so that the anger can be released, that pain, and you get to fill it with the next level of love. It's a simple technique, but it works. Basically, what's happening is that there are spaces on our body that when we press on them, that we're releasing the blockages, the things that are actually causing that pain to subside within us. And or agitation even sometimes. So you actually get it there, have them do it with you. If you don't, and you feel the need to reach out, then you can do that as well. I would invite you to go to G period C period period break. There might not be a period in between the chain breakers portion, but one of the things that I do is I help people with acupressure and to alleviate that pain. But again, this is more, but I'm doing this for helping others to learn how to support themselves a little bit more. And you're not exactly that person, and you're just doing it to kind of see what you're doing. Nutrition. Now, the reason I bring up nutrition isn't for the same reason that everybody else does. If you've ever noticed that there's certain foods that you really love and like, and that you feel like sometimes you can't quite get enough of it even. Well, from what I've learned on my journey is that food, an apple or fish or if it is a box of mac and cheese, if it ends up filling that void with goodness and you feel happy to access that love and that joy. Sometimes we don't tend to listen to it. So our first response is going, that just sounds weird. You'll actually find specifically for your body with your needs. So for some people, fish won't work. So what do? They find another plant or type of food that has omegas in it. Omegas are very good for when you're dealing with that time of the month with menstruals. And depending on how your body needs to receive it, depends on what kind of food or nutrients that you need. A better outcome for your menstruants, that you actually take the time to ask your body a week so that I don't end up with so much pain. Chia seeds. I've used other plant-based foods. And even when you dial it down to there, you kind of go off of what you need for even beyond that. Which kind of fish do I need at this time? Because some of them have more omegas than the other. And you go, okay, well, this is the fish that I need and stuff. You find out what all of them do is, and the muscle testing that I was showing you before, of where you check in with your body and say, okay, is this what I need at this time that is going to give me the best experience with my menstrual? You give your body what it needs. When you do that, you're actually supporting yourself. And even if somebody else cooks it for you, you're having the support that you need. Create just that. Create those after so. Go ahead and write messages below. Or even better yet, contact the email that I mentioned earlier. That's G.C.team.of.chain breakers. And I don't know if there's a period between the chain and breakers portion. At gmail.com. But I will find out and I will type it below just so that you have that option. I do 20 hours of pro bono work per week with individuals to have more in-depth breakthroughs, and depending on what topic they want to face and also what kind of outcome they want, that's kind of what I work with. So it's just helping you to learn how to redirect the challenges that you're dealing with in a way that you'll get to deal with them on an easier basis. And right now I understand that when we're in the home and with the COVID going on and other things going on like that, that we tend to get a little extra stressed. I wholeheartedly believe in helping others any dis-ease that they're dealing with. And I say it that way for a reason. So if you want to find out more, please let me know. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next show. Know that you are loved. Big bear hugs. Namaste.